This is the WWE Raw February 24, 2025 full show results video, which takes place at Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. Logan Paul makes his entrance and gets on the mic, and he starts with "I am also from Ohio" cheap pop before saying of course that he's just like the crowd except way better and he's got a story. He was coming in on his bird today, descending, and he saw dreary gray depressing Cincinnati and told his pilot to pull a U-turn and take him home. But he said no, wait, he's righteous and he will go to Cincinnati and perform in front of the peasants because he's just that humble. He talks about beating Rey Mysterio last time he was on Raw to punch his ticket to Elimination Chamber, where he will defeat 3 doorknobs and John Cena to headline WrestleMania, beat Cody Rhodes, and be the face of the company. Then CM Punk makes his entrance and Paul asks what Punk's problem with him is, if he's jealous cause he sees the subtweets, and he thinks he's jealous because Logan succeeds at everything he does outside of the ring, where CM's career is a series of failing upwards. Punk says he's not jealous, he's a dime a dozen willing to do anything for the shock, and he thinks that makes him the talent of a generation? No, these people deserve better. Logan mocks him and says Punk is bad business, one of the greatest returns in WWE history, and he cracked under pressure and tore his whittle tricep because he couldn't handle the spotlight. That's why he's here. CM is familiar to these people: Stone Cold, John Cena, CM Punk. That name changes and it's only a matter of time before the people get behind him. Punk says those names, himself included, are legends and history makers, time and time again. Under the pressure Logan says he cracks under, he makes history. Paul has never made history, he's barely a flash in the pan, and he's not gonna be here long enough for them to figure out or remember who he is. CM says he's gonna eliminate Paul, go on to Mania, and then Logan will be history. He doesn't care if Cody Rhodes has to sell his soul to beat him. He already knows what Paul will find out on Saturday: he's Satan himself, and in this business, Logan is nobody. Paul slaps him and runs away, chicken shit. And he mock asks Punk if he's okay and says he doesn't know what happened, and CM tells him to run while his legs still work, because on Saturday he's locked in a cage with CM Punk, and once he gets hands on him, he'll understand why they chant his name. Then Punk licks his lips and reveals the slap bloodied him. Then we saw a triple threat match between Ludwig Kaiser versus Penta versus Pete Dunne, and the result of this match was Ludwig Kaiser won the match by pinfall with the square hammer DDT on Pete Dunne. Jackie Redmond interviews Rhea Ripley from the Ackerland position, and she says her full focus is on defending the WWE Women's World Championship against Io Sky next week, because Io is right, she's never beat her. But it's been nearly 5 years since their last match, and in those 5 years, Rhea has become the most dominant woman in the company and beaten everyone who has stepped to her. So after next week, you'll have to add Io Sky's name to that list, and Io rolls up and says that next week she's going to beat Ripley again and go to WrestleMania as the world champion. The next match happened between Latino World Order, Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde, versus New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and the result of this match was New Day won the match by pinfall with up down down on Cruz del Toro. Post-match, Dragon Lee rushes down to attack New Day and avenge his mentor, but with Wilde and del Toro down, the damn numbers game wins out and New Day spike him with a double powerbomb. We go to the Judgment Day clubhouse and Finn Balor is sick of it. Last week was the most embarrassing day in the history of Judgment Day, and it was all Dominic Mysterio's fault for losing to AJ Styles and getting speared by Braun Breaker. Dom counters that Finn lost to Seth Rollins and maybe they should add a new member, but Balor doubles down and says he'll solve it himself. Liv Morgan rolls up to berate them for fighting and asks them to stick together while she and Raquel Rodriguez bring gold home. Finn asks if they're not worried after that stunt they pulled with Jade Cargill, and Liv insists that they didn't do it and asks Balor to help Mysterio against Braun Breaker. Gunther makes his entrance and gets on the mic and says yesterday he took that WrestleMania spirit to Adam Pearce and offered him the WWE World Heavyweight Champion in action tonight. He introduces us to his hand-picked opponent and says he opened the gate for this opportunity, and call out Akira Tozawa. Tozawa makes his way down and Gunther explains why he picked him. He saw him doing some TikTok dances when he came in here and it bothered him because they have some things in common. They both uprooted their lives and came to WWE and got into the shape of their lives to prove they belong, but Tozawa wastes it by dancing and being a goof for those degenerate fans. But tonight Akira can do something Jay can never do, by earning his respect. Gunther starts shoving him around and demands he earn his respect, and Tozawa takes it to him with a boot, and we got a bell. Then we saw a match between Akira Tozawa versus Gunther, and the result of this match was Gunther defeated Akira Tozawa by the referee stoppage with the Gajira clutch. Post-match, the ring general puts him back in the Gajira clutch, but Otis makes the save. Gunther pie faces him, but Otis shimmies and shakes and the world champion goes running. Otis and Maxine Dupree tend to Tozawa and Gunther cheap shots Dozer right back into the Gajira clutch. Jey Uso comes to save Otis, and the Gunther ran away. We get a clip of Michael Cole on Logan Paul's podcast, and Pat McAfee does a telestrator comment about the buttons on Cole's shirt straining against his gut, but also telling him he's clearly jacked from the way his pecs look through the fabric. The next match happened between Dakota Kai vs Lyra Valkyria for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, and the result of this match was Lyra Valkyria defeated Dakota Kai by pinfall when Lyra hits a Tenryo powerbomb, Dakota around the corner big boot, followed by the rolling lung blower, then both women fighting on the apron. Kai staggers her in the corner with a kick, Valkyria fireman's carry, and hits Nightwing finisher to retain the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Post-match, Valkyria does a sportsmanship and Kai gives her a little hug. When Dakota gets to the stage, ID Nile attacks her from behind and puts her into the barricade. ID Nile rushes the ring, release German suplex into mounted punches, scoop and a swinging rock bottom, then ID picks up the title belt and holds it up. A sit-down interview with Sami Zayn follows, and he talks about going to Kevin's house and chatting with his mom recently, and she was in good health and good spirits, and he got home that night totally ashamed of himself because he didn't recognize this person who would go to his house, and things have never been like that, but now they're here, and this is how it's different. He doesn't know what he's capable of right now, and he doesn't know what Owens is capable of, and they're not in headspaces they recognize right now. He says WWE should be real concerned about what he's going to do to Kevin, because this is going to be a war worse than anything they've ever done to each other before, and he hopes he's ready because it's going to be a very, very bad time. The next match happened between Braun Breaker vs Dominic Mysterio, and the result of this match was Braun Breaker won the match by disqualification when Finn and Carlito pulled Braun out of the ring and started attack. Post-match, Judgment Day continue working Braun over, putting boots to him in the ring. Breaker recovers, back body drop sends Mysterio to the floor, and a spear cuts Carlito in half. He squares up on hands and knees with Baylor, and Finn makes a hasty retreat. Back from the commercial, the Creed brothers hype up Ivy Nile until they run into an interview. Ivy reminds us that Chad Gable charged them with getting gold by the time he gets back, and War Raiders attacks Creed brothers from behind, and they brawl until referees and road agents swarm to break them up. American Nightmare Cody Rhodes makes his entrance and gets on the mic and says he's pretty certain of what we're supposed to talk about. That's an abstract question, but having grown up in this business, he thinks he has the sense of the offer that The Rock has made him. This decision he has to make at Elimination Chamber doesn't affect him alone. He's got Brandy and Liberty and his sister and her family and little Brody in the Nightmare Factory and his nephews breaking into this business that share the last name Rhodes, and he has a mother and he has the memory of a father. Then Seth Rollins makes his entrance and says he's out here to ask the same thing they've all been wondering: what the hell is he thinking? Nearly a year ago they were standing side by side against the Bloodline, against Roman Reigns, against The Rock, and now he's back asking for his soul? Seth asks Cody to not make him regret everything he sacrificed to help him win that WWE Championship. Rhodes says he wishes this conversation was going differently because his part should be laced with gratitude, but Seth is being awfully judgmental with him, and he knows The Rock wouldn't ask for his soul because it's been compromised. And Cody talks about Seth turning on the Shield and running with the Authority, but he also knows he was his Shield, his partner, and his brother last year. Rollins lets it sink in for a moment and says he's not trying to judge him, but maybe he's trying to keep him from making those same mistakes, because making those mistakes sticks with you, and he's been filled with hate lately. At the end of the day, he's a grown man who will make his own decisions, but the man he wants to fight after winning Elimination Chamber isn't a soulless shell. He's the man that came back to this company that beat him at WrestleMania 38. The Cody Rhodes that beat him with one arm in Hell of a Cell. The Cody Rhodes that he helped crown in the main event of WrestleMania last year. Cody will do what he wants, but that's what Seth wants, and he's not coming for his soul, but he will come for his title. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Bianca Belair and Naomi versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. We see that Bianca gets under Rodriguez, she rakes the eyes to get out and tags Liv in. Assisted codebreaker, then Oblivion blocked, Naomi with a kick and a tag, double Argentine backbreaker rack, but Dominic Mysterio runs interference. Raquel hits the powerbomb, Liv follows it up with Oblivion, but Bianca breaks it up. A spear connects and all four women are down and out, then Belair tags back in, suplex reversed into a small package for two. Charging in, clear the apron, Liv with a schoolboy for two, then Bianca gets under her, KOD connects, but Raquel breaks it up. Naomi runs in, Raquel throws her to the apron and eats a heatseeker for her trouble. Tag to Naomi, drawing Liv up together, double KOD, but Dominic puts Liv's foot on the rope. In the end, Naomi lands a kick on Dominic, but Raquel blocks the split-legged moonsault and smacks Naomi's face into the post. She crashes to the mat, Liv rolls into a desperate cover, and Judgment Day won the match by pinfall with a one-arm pin from Liv Morgan on Naomi, becoming your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Post-match, Judgment Day celebrates, and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate this week's Monday Night Raw show? Please tell me in the comments section. Do not forget to subscribe the channel, please like the video, stay tuned for the next video and thanks for watching.